Percentage profit and loss. Profit or loss amounts are very important when buying and selling items or services. Knowing whether a business makes a profit or loss is very important for the long-term success of any business. If the cost price is less than the selling price, then there is a profit. Profit equals selling price minus cost price equals a positive amount. If the cost price is more than the selling price, there is a loss. Loss equals selling price minus cost price equals a negative amount. Profit or loss can be expressed as a percentage of the cost price. The percentage profit or loss formulae are percentage profit equals profit amount divided by cost price multiplied by 100, and percentage loss is loss amount divided by cost price, again multiplied by 100. It's very, very important that you note that you're getting the profit or the loss as a percentage of the cost price, and that when you are dividing by the cost price. Very, very, very important to note that. A house was bought for €213,200 and sold for €260,000 7 years later. Find the percentage profit as a percentage of the cost price. So the first thing we will do is get the difference between the two amounts, what it was bought for and what it was sold for. So 260,000 take away 213,200 gives us €46,800. So this is the profit. So remember, percentage profit is the profit divided by the cost price multiplied by 100. So the profit is 46,800. We're going to divide that by the cost price, which was 213,200, and then multiply by 100 to get a percentage. So 46,800 divided by 213,200 multiplied by 100 gives us 21.95% to 2 decimal places, which is approximately equal to, that's what our squiggly brackets mean, 22%. A bicycle was bought for €425 and later sold at a profit of 15% of the cost price. Find the selling price. So the cost price, which is the first transaction, is always 100%. So that €425 that the bicycle was bought for is 100% of the amount. So the cost price is always 100%. They've made a profit of 15%, so the bicycle is now worth 100% plus 15%, which is 115%. So the bicycle is now worth 115% of the cost price. So we want to figure out what 115% is, but first of all, we're going to figure out what 1% is. We know that €425 is 100%. So we want to figure out, well, what's 1% in euro? And when we have that, then we can figure out what 115% is. So we always bring it back to the unit cost or the unit percentage, in this case 1%. So we're going to divide both sides by 100 because ultimately we want to make this 100% be 1. And to change anything into 1, we divide by itself. So 100 divided by 100 will give us 1%. So what we do to the right, we do to the left. And €425 divided by 100 gives us €4.25. So this is 1%. So that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to work out 1% of the original price. And now we're going to work out 115%. So we know 1%, we want 115%. So multiplying 1 by 115 will give us 115%. But what we do to the right, we must do to the left.
To the left.
So we multiply 4.25 by 115 and we multiply 1% by 115. So 1% is going to now become 115%, and €4.25 multiplied by 115 is €488.75. So €488.75 is equal to 115%. Therefore, the bicycle was sold for €488.75. So this is the selling price, and this is what we were asked to find. So it's really, really important that whenever you're working out these percentages questions, that you get 1% and then you get the percentage you're looking for. And if you ever want to get something to be 1%, you divide whatever the original percentage is by itself, because anything divided by itself is 1. And then when you have 1%, you can just multiply by whatever percentage you're looking for. A car is sold for €3,525 at a loss of 25% of the cost price. What was the original price of the car? So it's important to note that the cost price, which is the first transaction, is always 100%. So the original price or the cost price is 100%. So we want to figure out what 100% is. So the car was sold for €3,525 and this was a loss of 25%. So we want to figure out what was 100%. So 100%, which is the cost price or the original price, minus the 25% loss equals 75%. So 100% take away 25% is 75%. So this means the car was sold for 75% of the cost price or the original price. So this €3,525 is 75% of the original price. We want to work out 100%. So just like in the last question, we're going to first of all find 1%. We know 75%. We want to know 100%. So first of all, we have to work out 1%. So the car was sold for €3,525. So that's equal to 75% of the original cost. So we know €3,525 is equal to 75%. We want to find 1% first of all. So to change 75% into 1%, we divide by 75. Anything divided by itself is 1. So what we do to the right, we do to the left. So we're also going to divide 3,525 by 75. So 75% divided by 75 gives us 1%. And 3,525 divided by 75 gives us €47. So €47 is 1%. Now we want to find 100% because the original price or the cost price is 100%. So €47 is 1%, and multiplying 1% by 100 will give 100%. And what we do to the right, we do to the left. So now we find 100%. So €47 equals 1%. Multiplying both sides by 100. So €47 times 100 gives us €4,700, and 1% times 100 gives us 100%. So 100% is €4,700, which is the original price. So the original price of the car was €4,700. And we can check this by getting 25% of 4,700. And 25% of 4,700 is the same thing as 25% multiplied by 4,700, which gives us 1,175. There's a few ways you could get this number. So you could have changed 25% into a decimal, which is 0.25. So you could have multiplied 4,700 by 0.25. Or you could divide 4,700 by 100 and multiply it by 25. There's a few ways you can get percentages. Either way, 25% of 4,700 is 1,175. So if we subtract this from 4,700, so if we take the 25% away from the original price, the original cost, we should be left with 3,525. So 4,700 minus 1,175 leaves us with 3,525, which is what the car was sold for. So that means that this €4,700 is definitely the original price.